Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. Wanted to let you know before I get going, my sponsor Link2 has got some specials up on the platform this weekend. Go check it out, linqto.com, or you can download the app. Here we go. We covered this a little bit yesterday, where the SEC is now, they regret any confusion it may have invited by falsely and repeatedly stating that the tokens themselves are securities. Well, even the general counsel for Coinbase, he says, the SEC literally claimed XRP itself is a security in paragraph 1 of their complaint against Ripple. It's shameless. There should be, look, I can't remember who I was listening to yesterday, but they were talking about until these people these bureaucrats face repercussions, in my opinion, in the form of prison, until they face repercussions. You notice government people are never fired. They never have any repercussions. In fact, they're usually promoted when they do bad things because they're actually doing the bidding of someone in the power infrastructure. But until they see repercussions, this kind of stuff will continue to happen. There's not anybody listening to my voice that doesn't think Jay Clayton, Bill Hinman, and Gary Gensler shouldn't be under investigation over this. Nobody. But what's going to happen? They did an investigation at the SEC that they keep hiding the results of. But this is what we've been listening to for over 3 years.
I think there's been clarity for years. I'm not going to speak about one. I'm not going to speak to any one matter. I'm not going to get into any one company or one token. But I can't speak about any possible investigations. And I'm not speaking to all the other tokens. But I'm not going to get into any one filing because I'm not going to talk about any one of these tokens. I can't speak to any one case or any one situation.
Could you speak to the Ethereum issue?
I'm not going to go into any...
So in other words, always keep everything vague so that you can just pick people off and go after them. Don't tell them what they're doing wrong or anything. Just say, oh, it's clear, and then sue them, hold them over a barrel for over 3 years, hundreds of millions of dollars. And then after you've done all of that, admit that you shouldn't have done, you made all that up. Are you kidding me? And nobody pays? And then apparently Gary Gensler must be messing with Donald Trump too. Look at this. This is from Donald Trump. Why is NASDAQ halting the sale of Donald J. Trump, DJT, which is his social media platform, I think? What right do they have to do this? They have done it twice today. What's going on? Are they taking orders from the SEC, which for political reasons delayed us for an inordinate amount of time, therefore hurting the stock very badly? I'm going to hold NASDAQ and maybe the SEC liable for doing what they're doing. If they do it again, we will move the stock market to move the stock to the New York Stock Exchange. It is my intention to own this stock for a long period of time. In my opinion, it is the real voice of America, but it is definitely my voice, and it will be for a long time to come. This is worth play after everything that we were put through. This is that attorney that's sitting right beside Jay Clayton, and it's worth hearing again because F you, Jay Clayton.
Judge Torres got it right. Judge Torres got it right. There is a fundamental intellectual distinction between an investment contract and the product of that investment contract. And it's not just an academic. It's a practical one because it speaks to the risks of each of those transactions. Just as you all were saying earlier, there is a full-throated disclosure regime that applies to capital raising transactions because there are investor-like risks that come along with those transactions. But at some point, those investor-like risks give way to user-like risks. If you want to invest in Ford, the return on your investment depends on the managerial expertise of Ford Motor Corporation. If you want to buy an F-150, maybe the engine blows up. Those are different transactions. Those are different risks. And I I think that Judge Torres' approach in Ripple got it absolutely right. I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend, but
No,
I think
right
Judge
ahead,
Torres got
offend, Jay
it
Clayton.
absolutely right in that case.
Yes, sir. Look at this. Folks, you can feel it. XRP's moving the last few days. You can feel what's coming. Don't you feel it? I feel it. New JP Morgan's predicting a 50 basis point rate cut. Did I say that right? Next week. Here are some of the other predictions. Citi 25, B of A 25, Goldman Sachs 25. JP Morgan saying 50. We have waited for this moment for 6 years. XRP will flip ETH. XRP ETH in the monthly time frame. XRP is free. I'll make a bolder claim. I believe when this story is done, XRP flips Bitcoin too. I think that's why you had all the stuff, the roadblocks for the last few years. It's because they were afraid of XRP flipping Bitcoin. Check this out. Circle announces headquarters move to New York. One World Trade Center stablecoin issuer Circle is moving its global headquarters to New York City. This made me want to, here's a picture of Jeremy Allaire, the CEO. I think that's the World Trade Center right here in the background. Man, I still need to go back and visit the site. Haven't been back there since my story about that thing that happened there that you can't talk about out here. All right, this is I think this is a lady, Eva from Bitstamp. Listen to this clip.
Launching our own derivatives exchange in the next few months, so that's something we are most excited about and really hope to cooperate closely with Ripple there as well.
Derivatives exchange, and that was put out on Ripple X right there. This is there's a longer interview. A derivatives exchange. What could that mean? Reminds me of what Kendra Hill said. And then here's Greg Manarino, normally like a stock market or like an analyst around the markets in general, but he hits crypto here. Guess which one?
Rigging here of the debt market and the dollar being a unit of debt. We haven't seen anything yet. Now, with regard to that, you know how I operate, people. I tell you exactly what I am doing. Do you see this? I did buy more XRP, added to my position in XRP. I would suggest if you're, look, I'm not telling you guys and girls what to do, but I would suggest that you ponder having some exposure to the cryptocurrency space here. Again, you know how I feel about XRP. I've spoken about it a million times. Rigging here of
the. We're not crazy, folks. I was playing around in Bill Hinman's calendar. Actually, you may not know this, but if you go to Google and type in Bill Hinman PDF, you know what comes up? The SEC has now put a link to the Bill Hinman's full calendar on their website. They did not. They lied about the availability of that calendar, lied about whether there was one, lied about everything around that calendar while we were uncovering ETHgate and while everybody was filing Freedom of Information Act requests for that calendar. They only released that calendar because of the Freedom of Information Act request, and it was eventually had. Now, here's something that I never saw in that calendar, and I don't know if anybody caught it. If they did, I didn't see. But do you remember, I was showing it to you yesterday, remember when the FDIC was having the meeting and they were talking about bail-ins and how they don't want to scare the public and all that? Well, remember, Jay Clayton was at that meeting.
I agree with what Gary said. And a question related to that, I think March 2020, it was sort of all hands on deck for a little bit with a little bit of, but not the same as 08. I'm curious, when was the last time it was sort of all hands on deck for a resolution, even as an exercise? And I think that's, if it's been a long time, it's a good reason to, give it a try.
Well, I think.
Okay. And like I've talked about before, in 2013, I believe there was an experiment where they did bail-ins in Cyprus. where they and a bail-in, just for those that don't remember, a bail-in means over the weekend they declare a bank holiday, they shut down your bank so that you can't get any money out, and then any money that you have in your bank account that's over that $250,000 FDIC insured limit, they just shave a percentage off of it, steal a percentage of your money, and they call it a bail-in instead of a bailout, because in a bail they learned from the 2008 financial crisis that doing a bailout was too risky for all these elites that want to save themselves and prevent themselves from having any losses, because in a bailout scenario you have to go to Congress and you have to get on your knees and beg crazy people like Nancy Pelosi to pass laws or to do that kind of thing in order to pass like they did the TARP bailout, okay? And that's politically tough to do. So, never again is what they said, and they started writing in bail-ins into the laws. I had not seen it, but what's important about the fact that this was on Bill Hinman's calendar, it says bail-in information memo right there. So there's a memo going around about bail-in information, whatever that means, and I'm assuming this is just part of the coordination between all the agencies when they were putting all this bail-in stuff in the rules so that they could do it when the shit hit the fan. Now, what are we going to talk about in DAIXRP.com? It's juicy today. The first thing, there's a big reveal coming, and it's a big one, folks. This is like, holy you know what, okay? And then we're going to show you we're going to talk about some of the rats jumping off the ship right now. There's a lot of rats that are jumping off the ship. There's rats in the media jumping off the ship. But I'm going to show you the rats jumping off the ship having to do with the X47, that attempt that we can't talk about out here. All right. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Here we go. Ready for the big reveal? Here it goes.